What's up, y'all? Welcome to Hallmark Gear Reviews. Now, I know it's been forever since I posted to this channel, and for the sake of transparency, initially I started the channel as kind of an experiment. I wanted to see if it was something that I could do in my spare time, and what I realized as time went on was I have a lot of interests, cycling being one of them, but I also enjoy running. I enjoy researching heritage menswear, bags, cameras, both with photo and video. And because of that, I think I've decided to turn this channel into a bit of a variety channel. Basically, I want it to be a reflection of all the things in my life that I appreciate using, doing, etc. So if you like the cycling content, stick around because it'll still be there. But I'd like to include content around running. I'd like to do camera and gear reviews. I would also like to do videos around heritage menswear or just clothing in general, bags, everything like that. So stick around if you like this content. Today, to kick off this kind of new take on this channel, I've decided to do a video around the items that I try not to leave the house without. Call them my everyday carry, daily essentials, whatever. But basically, it's the stuff that I keep on me at all times. Now, what I take every day really depends on what I'm doing. If I'm going on a shoot, or if I'm going into the office to work, or if I'm just going to a coffee shop, that's going to change what I'm going to be taking with me. But for the most part, the things I mentioned today are the things that I always try and have on me whenever I leave the house. First, this one's probably a little obvious, but it's my iPhone and my AirPods Pro. Now, I have the iPhone 13 mini, and I have it for good reason. I know it's an older generation. I can't keep up with what generation we're on now, but the reason I really love this phone is because it's the last phone that Apple made this size. I know that the market is kind of leaning more towards larger and larger screens. I personally like a smaller size. If I have to put it in my pocket, I like that it's not gigantic. It fits in a lot of like smaller areas, smaller pockets in my bags, little nooks in my car I can slide it into. And frankly, I wish Apple would continue to make phones this small, but it does everything I need it to. You know, I'm just wanting to respond to texts or emails, maybe watch the occasional YouTube video or reel or short or something like that. I'm not doing most of my media consumption on this. Typically, if I want to watch something long form, I'll watch it on my laptop or my iPad. So this is just a perfect size, especially too because I like to take my phone on runs and on, when I ride my bike or really any sort of physical activity. I like to take my phone with me, so having it be smaller is really helpful for that. And then the AirPods, I do love having these on me at all times. If I'm ever in a place where I want to watch a video or listen to music or something like that, and I don't want to be distracting to others, it's really great to have these. And the fact that they have the noise canceling is a plus if I'm in a loud environment or a loud coffee shop, and I really need to focus on what I'm listening to or what I'm watching. Having that noise canceling feature is awesome. I also love to use these when I'm working out, mostly running and lifting. I don't love to listen to music when I'm cycling because I like to be distraction free when I'm on the road. But other than that, I use these all the time and I love having them with me. So the next item that I have on me at all times that I love to pretty much take with me wherever I go is a good pair of sunglasses. The current sunglasses I'm using are the Roca Collins. I love Roca as a brand. I think they make some really cool looking frames, and I really liked their visor shades for cycling, and that's when I decided to get a more casual pair, although I have used these for running and cycling before, and I think they're great. Roca also too, they design a lot of, in fact, I believe they design all of their sunglasses and prescription glasses to be used for sport. So they have what's called Gecko Tech in the arms that helps keep the glasses on your face. And I initially bought these because I just needed some casual sunglasses that I like the look on me. This is the first time I had bought round sunglasses like this, and I love the way the frames looked on me, and I love the lenses. I love that my ears didn't get fatigued from the weight because they're pretty lightweight. They're polarized and they're super sharp, and I actually loved them so much I bought the prescription pair, which is what I'm wearing right now. So the next item that I try not to leave the house without is a good camera. Now, I have a lot of cameras, and I love to shoot film. Recently, one of my favorite cameras to take with me has actually been this Olympus Pen FT. Two big reasons I like taking this camera with me is it's actually smaller. It's the smallest film camera that I currently own. The lens is super sharp. I love how compact and easy to use it is. It has a light meter, but I don't think it works, so I typically just use the Sunny 16 rule. But the other big reason I love this camera for just my daily use is actually because it's what's called a half frame camera. Film is pretty expensive, and to get it processed and scanned is also pretty expensive. So the advantage of having a half frame camera is, if you think of a traditional 35mm film strip, typically they're meant to capture anywhere from 24 to 36 frames, 35mm wide frames, in a horizontal rectangular format. The way this is designed is that it actually takes that same space and gives you two vertical frames. So you actually get twice the amount of shots on a roll of film from this camera that you would a traditional 35mm film camera. Now, some people might say that that takes a hit to quality. It's not going to take as big of a hit to quality as you would if you were to, say, cut a digital sensor in half. It's just a fun little camera to shoot. It's solid, it's metal, and it's reliable. So yeah, this has been one of my favorites to carry around with me. So next on my list of everyday carry is actually a good pocket knife. Now, I like cameras, I have quite a few pocket knives, but my favorite to keep on me is actually this Benchmade Barrage. I've had it for quite a long time. It's been super reliable, stayed super sharp with very, very little sharpening needed. And a couple of my favorite features of it. First, just having this clip. So growing up, I grew up on a horse ranch. We always had knives on us, and the one we usually kept on us was the Buck 110. Fantastic knife, but it didn't have any clip. Usually you had to carry it in a leather case. Having a clip is really nice. This one has stayed nice and solid and stays on my jeans, doesn't fall out. But another reason I really like this knife is just the usability. So on the back here, you have a lock that keeps it from opening, and it's pretty solid. I've never had this thing accidentally open while in my pocket. But when you unlock it, it has an assisted blade opening. So that's not me opening it that fast. It's got a spring-loaded mechanism that actually helps open it that fast. And then once it's open, it's locked in place. Like, this isn't going anywhere. And then shutting it's pretty easy. You just pull down on this little tab here, and then you can shut it one-handed. Goes back in your pocket. You can go on with your day. The next item that I do actually always keep on me is my wallet. Now, this is a Bear Goods flap wallet. If you don't know, Bear Goods is a small leather goods company based in San Antonio, Texas. All of their leather goods are made by hand by them in San Antonio. I've just been super pleased with the quality of their products. I have this, and I also have their Passport wallet that I use if I'm traveling anywhere internationally. But one reason I really also love this company is because before I bought one of their wallets, I was using a wallet from another reputable leather goods brand. I think I got about 3 years of use out of that wallet before the stitching started coming undone. And so I was kind of disappointed with that, especially for that specific brand's quality. So I was living in San Antonio at the time. I went by Bear Goods and I picked up this wallet, and it has been solid. Like, it's gotten so much use. You can actually see on their website how light tan these are off the shelf, and you can see how dark mine has become. But another thing that you don't really notice until you've used something like this for a long time is just how solid the stitching has been. There's not been one thread come loose on this thing, and I have packed it full of cards. It's super small. Even with all of those cards, it's maybe 3/4 of a centimeter thick. So super minimal, slides into my pocket easily, holds my cards in place. Don't leave the house without it. So finally, one thing that I rarely leave the house without is a good bag. And the reason being, I don't love carrying all these things in my pocket. I really don't even love carrying my wallet or my phone or my keys in my pocket. I don't like the way it looks. I don't like the way it feels when I sit down and having stuff digging into my legs. Even flat things like my wallet or my phone, I don't like having them in my pocket. So I always like having a bag with me, and one of my favorites is this Filson Sportsman bag. Now, when I bought this, I think it was called the Filson Hunting Bag, and it was still being made in the US by Filson. The whole bottom portion of this bag is constructed with wax canvas, so you never have to worry about water seeping in if you have to set it down on wet ground or something like that. The top is also a sort of twill weave that's pretty durable. It's not waxed like the bottom part, so if it gets water directly on top for a long period of time, it'll probably soak through, but I've never really had issues with things getting wet. But other than that, these handles are a super thick, hardy leather. It's got these nice brass button clasps. This zipper that opens the main compartment is super heavy duty. It opens and closes with no issues, and they have the same leather woven onto the zipper, so it's easy to just pull shut. There's these brass clips that hold the main strap on, and they have leather accents that are super solid. It's got these big side bag pockets that are waxed canvas, and they actually have two pockets. So one is kind of like a slip in the side, and the other is a button clasp pocket. And one thing that Filson does, I haven't seen many other companies do it, but one thing I love is on their button clasps, they actually put the receiver end of the clasp on this little loop. So it's so much easier when you shut it, you can just push it down and push your finger in, and it's so much easier to clip it. Like, it's one of those little like usability details that just makes using this bag such a joy. And in the front, there's just a basic button flap. I don't think I would like it as much if it had a clasp. I kind of like the big button, but most of the time I'll put my keys and maybe a notebook in here if I want to take a notebook with me. Right now you can buy an identical version of this bag called the Heritage Sportsman bag from Filson. I believe it's made overseas now, which for me is not a huge deal because knowing Filson, they've probably done everything they can to make sure their quality remains the same. And even though this bag was and still is expensive, the cost per use is minimal because I've just gotten so much use out of this bag with no issues, no holes, nothing breaking. Everything's just been so solid. All the stitching is incredible, and I'll probably continue to use it for a long time. Those are my everyday carry items. If you liked this video, please hit the like button and subscribe if you want more content like this. Again, this channel is going to be a little bit different than the cycling content you're used to seeing. I appreciate y'all sticking around for this long if you are still watching this from being a subscriber back in 2020. Either way, there will be more cycling content, but it's going to be mixed in with a lot of other content. So stick around if you think that's something that would interest you, and thanks again for watching.